This is the Martini Mortgage Podcast with Kevin Martini.
Hello and welcome. Now, to many, the unofficial start to spring is March 1st. To me, the start of spring is when the time change happens. However, the spring equinox on March 20th, 2019 at 5:58 p.m. will be the official start of spring. Now, whenever you acknowledge the start of spring, whether the official or the unofficial, I believe that spring is a great time to buy a home and get a mortgage. Hello, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Kevin Martini, and I am the host of the Martini Mortgage Podcast, and this is the 47th episode, and it's a special one because A, I'm recording it in my office, and number two, my ebook was just released, and it's called Things to Consider When Buying a Home. Now, yes, every season I release this ebook, and some people call it a buying guide because it is, in my opinion, it simply and effectively communicates the current market opportunity to someone that is thinking of buying a home. You can get free access to this priceless ebook by going to www.martinibuyerguide.com. Again, to download it for free, I mean, do not even need to put your name or email address. Just go to www.martinibuyerguide.com. Now, this is the first time I wrote the ebook with a co-author. The co-author's name is Logan. Now, Logan is not just the co-author. He is not just a mortgage strategist with the Martini Mortgage Group here at Benchmark Mortgage in Raleigh, North Carolina. He is also my son. Yes, Logan Martini and myself wrote it together this season. It was a wonderful experience, and I'm proud of him and of the spring 2019 edition of Things to Consider When Buying a Home. Now, as a primer, it does not matter if you are buying your first home or you are buying your fifth home. The steps to follow are always loan first, then home second. But the preamble to loan first is education. You see, my parents were 100% correct. There is never a substitute for education. That is why we release Things to Consider When Buying a Home every season. And again, the spring edition of 2019 was just released. I believe it is not nice to know what you need to know before you buy a home. It is critical. I believe it is not nice to know what to expect when buying a home. It is critical. I believe it's not just nice to know what is happening in the housing market. Again, it is critical. You know, as you read this spring 2019 Martini Mortgage Group Homebuyer Guide called Things to Consider When Buying a Home, I believe it will simply explain everything in Martini style. There are 3 sections to this ebook. Section 1 is what is happening in the housing market, and you will have a glimpse of the factors to watch in today's real estate market. I take a sneak peek at home prices over the last year and much, much more. The second section is called What You Need to Know Before You Buy. We will cover the lingo. We will highlight the facts that you do not need to have perfect credit. We also reiterate that you do not need 20% down to buy a home. And we will look at the true cost of waiting. In addition, in this section, there's a killer article written by Logan called How Real Estate Can Create a Sizable Family Wealth. Now, in the third section, last but not least, it's called What to Expect When Buying a Home. And it talks about the tips for making a successful offer and talks about what's really the difference of having a professional on your side and the difference it makes. Now, again, this free ebook can be accessed by going to www.martinibuyerguide.com right now. With all my heart, and it does not matter, again, if you're a first-time home buyer or a repeat home buyer, buying real estate today and securing a mortgage today is a ground floor opportunity. Now that maybe I let me just go ahead and be 100% transparent. I do not know if buying a home is right for you and your family. What I do know is you need to know, and you owe it to yourself and to your family to be armed with the information to make an educated decision. Again, my parents were 100% correct. There is never a substitution for education. Oh yes, there is a time to rent. However, that time is not right now. And I believe it is my duty, my responsibility and obligation to simply and effectively communicate the current opportunity to help you and your family create wealth with real estate. Let us talk about renting for a quick moment. Let us say that you are paying $1,500 a month in rent. That means you pay $18,000 a year for housing. That $18,000 you are paying for housing is not working for you to create wealth. It is a sunk cost that you have no economic benefit from, with the exception of a roof over your head during that period of time. Now let's assume that you rent for 30 years. After 30 years, you will have paid over $500,000 in rent. To be specific, you will have paid $540,000, assuming that the rent has remained the same for all of those 30 years. And at the end of 30 years, after paying that $540,000, you will have nothing to show for it. But do not worry, your landlord will be creating wealth. Well, you will be helping your landlord create wealth and their family. Now, I get it. Some people rent because of fear of the obligation that a mortgage represents. Oh my! Some people have concerns on buying a house because they simply call the landlord if there is a maintenance issue that needs to be addressed, and there's no charge for that. Here is a hashtag Kevin Martini Live nugget. When you rent, you are paying a mortgage. You are not paying your mortgage. You are paying your landlord's mortgage for them. Now, you think that you are not paying for that maintenance. However, you are. The landlord has built that cost of maintenance and repairs into the cost of your monthly rent. He's laughing to the bank. Did you know when you buy a home, you can get a warranty to cover the major components such as the air conditioning or the refrigerator? So if there is ever a failure with your water heater or your dishwasher, you are covered. I have been in the financial services since the late 80s. I am still a very young man. I worked exclusively in the Triangle of North Carolina since 2006 and have created during my tenure amazing relationships with the top realtors in the market. The real estate agents I partner with do not have commission breath. They are, and they do get it. They do, and they have a servant's heart. If you are thinking of buying real estate and need a recommendation on who to use, you should not go to a website or consult with a friend. You should call an experienced local, trusted mortgage strategist in the market. You see, it is my opinion, experienced, trusted mortgage strategists only work with the market's best real estate agents and should be willing to pair you with the right agent they have that has, well, once after they have clarity of your short and long-term goals. Yes, I am a mortgage strategist, and I work with the best agents in Raleigh and all over the Triangle of North Carolina. Once I have an understanding of your goals and where you want to call home, it would be my pleasure to introduce you to an agent that can meet your needs. I and the mortgage strategists at the Martini Mortgage Group are different than other lenders. One way is we consult and we create a custom home loan solution. We originate, we process, we underwrite, and we fund your mortgage under one roof. Our job is to make sure you have price and cost clarity before you fall in love with the place to call home. There is nothing worse than falling in love with a house that you cannot afford. In addition, my job as your mortgage strategist is not done after closing. A mortgage is a large debt. That debt must be monitored and properly managed. That is what I do. That is what the mortgage strategist Logan Martini does, and that is what you can expect when you work with the Martini Mortgage Group at Benchmark Mortgage. I want to highlight an article in the spring 2019 edition of Things to Consider When Buying a Home. It is called 2 Factors to Watch in Today's Real Estate Market. When it comes to buying or selling a home, there are many factors to consider. Where you want to live, why do you want to buy, or why do you want to sell, and who will help you along the journey. It is my opinion, in today's real estate market, the top 2 factors to consider are what is happening with interest rates and what is happening with inventory. Let me talk about interest rates since I am a mortgage geek. The interest rate you secure when buying a home not only impacts your housing cost, it also impacts your buying power. Listen, right now, mortgage rates are epic. Epic mortgage rates may not be here forever. With every 0.25% increase in interest rate, the value of the home that you can actually afford decreases by 2.5%. So if the interest rates increase just 1% upward, your buying power would be reduced by 10%. Today, interest rates are about 50% less than when my wife and I purchased our first home. When we purchased a home, the rate was over 9%. We were so pleased that rates were not double digits. You see, when my parents purchased their first home, their rate was double digits. A buyer today's market should be thankful they are actually getting a better rate than their parents did 20 years ago. As it relates to inventory, homes are available for sale. The inventory of homes for sale in the real estate market have been steadily declining and experienced year-over-year drops for 36 months. Since June 2018, we are starting to see a shift in inventory. There is an amazing graphic in the article on year-over-year housing supply for the last 12 months of data that is available at print. Be sure to check this article and the others by going to www.martinibuyerguide.com. In closing, I do not know if buying a home is right for you. I do know that many people overestimate the down payment that is needed to buy a home and secure a mortgage. I also have found that many people believe their credit must be perfect. Let me share this. Every day I help families create wealth with real estate. Yes, some people put 20% down. Some people even put more down to purchase their home. In 2018, the average down payment was only 5%. The Martini Mortgage Group at Benchmark Mortgage offers home loans with as little as 3% down. And we also have programs that require no down payment at all. And we also have programs that offer down payment assistance programs. In addition, we can help families that have had a bump, bruise, or worse on their credit. Just because you went through a bankruptcy or had a foreclosure does not prevent you from getting a mortgage with me or Logan or anyone at the Martini Mortgage Group. You know, recently I helped a family secure a mortgage with a low down payment and their credit score was 580. Again, there is no substitution for education. For our free, judgment-free, confidential conversation, give either me, Kevin Martini, or Logan Martini a call at 919-238-4934. Thank you for tuning in to the Martini Mortgage Podcast. Remember, you can have access to the spring 2019 edition of the Martini Mortgage Group Homebuyer Guide called Things to Consider When Buying a Home by going to martinibuyerguide.com. Please tune in next week for another fresh episode of the Martini Mortgage Podcast. New episodes are released every Tuesday. Now, until then, remember this. It does not matter how big the house is. All that matters is how happy the home is. Never forget this. Loan first, home second. Cheers.
The Martini Mortgage Group makes real estate dreams a reality with trusted advice in a stress-free environment with great rates and on-time closings while providing a world-class experience. If you or someone you know has questions about the current mortgage rates or the current mortgage programs, please reach out to the Martini Mortgage Group at 919-238-4934. The information contained in this podcast presentation is for general product information purposes only. Arklatex Financial Services, LLC, NMLS number 2143, doing business as Benchmark Mortgage, makes no representations or warranties of any kind expressed or implied about the completeness, reliability, suitability, or availability with respect to the information, products, or services. All loans subject to borrower qualifying. Other restrictions may apply. Branch Manager Kevin Martini, NMLS number 143962. Branch located at 5650 Six Forks Road, Suite 101, Raleigh, North Carolina 27609. Contact the branch by calling 919-238-4934. Equal housing opportunity.